I welcome you all to the session of Principle of Hydraulic Machines and System Design, and in continuation of my last lecture on the pump casing efficiencies and problem, today we will see that from the velocity triangles that we have learned, if you would like to calculate the total head which is developed by a radial flow pump can be expressed in different forms. So, today we will work out two such examples to see that by playing with the velocity triangles, if we try to give different form of the head being developed by the pump, and while doing so that we will try to see that how the net head developed by the pump can be tuned by tuning the geometric parameters of a radial flow pump. So, to do that, let us first briefly write the head developed by the pump. So, I am talking about radial flow pump, and if we try to draw an impeller of a radial flow pump, say this is rotating in this direction with an angular velocity omega. Okay. So, the net head, though it is the expression of the ideal head, can be written in this form. Okay. Now, this is the expression we know. We have tried to write this expression in terms of different velocity components, and we have identified the contribution of different components towards the net head being developed by a radial flow pump. Okay. Now, question is, if we try to draw a line diagram, say this is the line diagram of a pumping system. This symbol is used to denote or indicate a radial flow pump. So, this is a radial flow pump. Now, if we give name two different points, say this is point 1 and this is point 2. One is at the inlet to the pump and point 2 is at the outlet to the pump. Okay. So, this pump is driven by say an electric motor. Now, we need to show that the net piezometric head. So, the pump is used to supply water from one place to other. Say this is one sump, this contains water, used to supply water in a different place. We need to show that assuming no loss of energy, if I write assuming no loss of energy, right, the piezometric head across the pump, the piezometric head across the pump can be written as P 2 minus P1 divided by gamma plus Z2 minus Z1, that is what? So, this is what we need to do. So, again I am telling, this is a radial flow pump which is used to supply water from a reservoir to another place. The sole purpose of having this pump is to develop head. Of course, we need to have discharge, but at the same time we need to make sure that the quantity of water which is available at this junction, say this is the junction. So, quantity of water available at the junction should be able to meet the demand. Also, what we need to make ensure that the head, the amount, the pressure which will be available at this junction will also be able to meet the demand at that location, right. So, and that is why this pump is installed. Basically what do we do? I have taken this example to describe that in this particular junction where this pump is shown using this symbol, at this junction we are supplying or providing energy, rather input energy, and at the cost of that input energy our objective is to get energy, but in different form. Since energy cannot be destroyed, that we have learned from 10 plus 2 or even from our 10th class, that energy cannot be destroyed. So, the amount of energy which is given here to operate the pump definitely in a form, and that is mechanical energy to be precise, that energy is now utilized to convert, rather this amount of energy will be used to convert different energy, rather energy in different form, and that is nothing but velocity as well as pressure that we would like to have at this junction, that is at the destiny. So, that means while water is coming into this pump and ultimately it is going from the pump to this destiny, then here energy is added. So, the amount of energy, rather this can be written in different form, that is what we need to express. Okay. So, I mean we have learned that Bernoulli equation from our fluid mechanics class, but here we can't say that Bernoulli equation can be applied, because the most important assumptions behind this equation is that this equation is applicable for the inviscid flow, but here the fluid is having viscosity. So, we cannot apply directly, but still we can say that steady flow energy equation, that also we have learned from our fluid mechanics and thermodynamics course. So, if I apply steady flow energy equation between these 2 points, rather across the pump, then what we can write? We can write that P2 by gamma plus I can write in different, I am writing C2 square by 2G plus Z2 will be equal to P1 by gamma plus C1 square by 2G plus Z1 plus H, right. So, this is head which is added to the fluid. So, that means at that point 2, the total energy at that point 2 is equal to total energy at point 1 plus the head being developed or head being added to the head being developed by the pump, and that is nothing but this. Okay. Since so we can write now simply that if I try to write P2 minus P1 by gamma plus Z2 minus Z1 will be nothing but what? That will be equal to C1 square minus C2 square divided by 2G plus H, right. C1 square minus C2 square by 2G plus H. What is H? So, our objective, we can simply write this expression in this form. This is also correct, but since we have learned that the total head developed by the pump, though it is ideal head, can be written by this expression. So, that means if we go one step further, then we can write that this P2 minus P1 by gamma plus Z2 minus Z1, that is nothing but C1 square minus C2 square by 2G plus H. What is H? If we try to learn that in the previous class we have seen that this H can be written in terms of different velocity component. Plus W1 square minus W2 square by 2G. Okay. Now, simply if we plug in the expression of H from here, then we can write this is nothing but U2 square minus U1 square by 2G plus W1 square minus W2 square by 2G. Okay. So, this is the expression of the piezometric head across the pump, and if we now go back to the previous slide. So, the no loss of energy, because we did not consider losses due to friction, due to other losses. So, assuming no loss of energy, the piezometric head across the pump can be written in this form. Okay. Now, question is, we can write this expression in different form. Okay. So, say I can write that is nothing but U2 square minus U1 square by 2G minus W2 square minus W1 square by 2G. Okay. So, this is the expression. See, so we can now see that the piezometric head, for this particular case we also have considered the this factor. There it may be a case that the point 1 and point 2 elevation of these 2 points are same from the datum, then probably that effect will not be there, but this is the most generic expression. Okay. Now, we will see another example, but before I go to discuss that example, in this context I will tell that Euler equation or Euler head can be written by G, right. So, if we quickly draw the velocity triangle, the velocity triangles both at inlet and outlet. So, this is the flow velocity at the outlet, this is c theta 2, this is w and this is u2, okay. And this is the flow velocity at the inlet CR1. Now, we can quickly just by looking at these two triangles we can write that what is c theta 2. So, this component, so if I now use another different color, say I am using red color, this component is w theta 2, this is w theta 1. So, we can clearly see that what is u2 or c theta 2. So, that means u2 equal to c theta 2 plus w theta 2, very simple, right. And then what about c theta 2? Then c theta 2 is equal to u2 minus w theta 2, okay. So, if I now write it, we can write u2 into u2 minus w theta 2 minus u1 into u1 minus w theta 1. In a similar way, we can write c theta 1 in terms of the w theta 1 and u1. So, if we now go to the next slide, what we can write? We can write u2 square minus u1 square by g. So, we can write that h equal to u2 square minus u1 square by g. If we go back to the previous slide, then u1 w theta 1 minus u2 w theta 2 by g, right. So, that is what we can write, plus u1 w theta 1 minus u2 w theta 2 by g, okay. And again if we go back to the previous slide, say the pump is rotating at an angular velocity omega. So, we can write this is nothing but omega square r2 square minus r1 square divided by g plus what is u1 omega r1 w theta 1 minus omega r2 w theta 2 by g, okay. So, we can write in this form. Now, this is fine, we can see, in fact we have discussed that if we increase r2, that is the impeller diameter, right, then the head that will be developed by the pump can be increased, right. What about this fellow? So, I can write this quantity, this is nothing but omega into r1 w theta 1 minus r2 w theta 2 by g, okay. So, where r omega is the angular velocity. Question is, if so for the radial flow pump, if the radial flow pump, so again I am drawing, okay. So, if we consider a radial flow pump, you can see, and that too if we consider the logarithmic spiral, okay. If we consider logarithmic spiral for the blade, then it can be shown that R1 omega theta 1 equal to R2 omega theta 2, that probably you have learned from the mechanics and machine design courses. So, if the logarithmic spirals are used for the design of the blade of a radial flow pump, then it can be shown this. If that is the case, then the head developed by the pump can be simply written okay. So, omega 2 square minus R 1 square by G. Okay. So, here E equal to R into omega. So, the velocity u, that is R into omega. Okay. So, this is the expression of the net head which will be developed by radial flow pump, provided the blades are designed following logarithmic spiral. Okay. So, if that is the case, this can be written. In the context of axial flow pump, we will be able to see that this fellow will go away, but we will discuss in the next class. Okay. So, for the time being, just quickly we can work out one example, that if we use a logarithmic spiral, then the net head developed by the pump can be written in this form. So, now we will quickly solve one problem to see the implication of this. So, we will quickly solve one problem. Now, so what I told that, rather I said that the net head developed by the pump can be written in this form. If we increase R2, then the head that will be developed by the pump can be increased, provided the logarithmic spiral is used to design, rather blades are following the logarithmic spiral. Okay. So, now if we quickly move to solve one problem. So, I am solving one problem. The problem is, let me write the diameter of radial flow pump impeller at inlet outlet is rather diameters. So, the diameters are 30 centimeter and 60 centimeter respectively. Okay. We need to calculate the minimum starting speed of the pump if it works against a head of 30 meter. This is what we need to calculate. Okay. Now, we need to calculate, rather we need to solve this problem. So, this is the problem. If we now try to draw, so this is the problem, this is solution. angular velocity is omega, we need to calculate the minimum starting speed of the pump if it works against a head of 30 meter. Okay. So, h equal to 30 meter it is given, right. We can write h equal to omega square into r2 square minus r1 square divided by g, right, plus r1 w theta 1 minus r2 w theta 2 by g. So, this is the expression we can write, that is what we have seen from today's exercise. And if minimum starting speed, what we need to calculate. Now, question is, we do not know anything about w theta 1 and w theta 2, right. Radial flow pump, normally the blades are designed following the logarithmic spiral. If that is the case, from today's class we have understood that this quantity will be 0. Okay. If this is 0, then what is h? H equal to given 30 meter equal to omega square into r2 square minus r1 square, diameters are given. So, what about r2? R2 is equal to 60 by 2, 30 centimeter, R1 equal to 50 centimeter. So, that would be 0.3 square minus 0.15 square divided by g. So, from this expression we can calculate what will be omega. Now, if we have the value of omega, we can easily calculate. So, if we go from here, then so from this quantity we can calculate what will be omega. If we know omega, this omega is nothing but twice pi n by 60 equal to this quantity. We can calculate, we rather will be able to calculate what is n. So, the RPM we can easily calculate from this expression. Now, question is, why I have taken this example. So, for the radial flow pump, normally our objective is to, if we can just try to recall, in one of my last lectures we have discussed about the application of radial flow pump. The radial flow pumps are used in places where we need moderate to high head with rather against a moderate discharge. So, the radial flow pumps are used to to provide moderate to high head. If we need to increase high head, so you can see that we can increase R2. Now, definitely this quantity we really do not know whether this quantity, whether R1 w theta 1 minus R2 w theta 2, the expression of this, but at least the minimum starting speed that will be required. Even if we ignore this fellow, considering the fact that the blades are following logarithmic spiral, in that case the total head, the expression h can be written simply with this quantity, and that will be the minimum head, that will be the minimum cutting speed required. Definitely our objective should be to increase the head. So, this fellow, if it can be added, that will be favorable for the system, but at least from the understanding that we have gained today, that the assuming logarithmic spiral for the blades which are used for the radial flow pumps, this quantity is the minimum head. If this is the minimum head can be developed by the pump, what will be the minimum speed from this expression. So, that is why we have taken, I have taken this example to solve in the class. Okay. So, I really do not know, the maximum speed definitely will be higher if we add this fellow, but at least the minimum speed that will be required to start the pump will be against the minimum head that will be developed for this particular case. Okay. So, lastly we will be again see that the net head which will be developed, again I am telling, just if we try to draw the impeller of a radial flow pump through the line diagram. Okay. Now, right. So, if we give the name of this point is 1 and this point is 2. So, inlet and outlet. So, this is pump. So, this pump is again used to supply water from place 1 to from location 1 to location 2, and while it is supplying water, of course certain quantity of water depending upon the requirement, this water when it is delivered at point 2 is having certain head, right, and to gain that, to rather to supply, to deliver water at that head, here this pump is used, radial flow pump. Okay. Now, what is done, again I am telling, in this pump energy is added to the water, that is what we have learned from the beginning of this course. So, mechanical energy is converted to increase the stored energy of the fluid, either in terms of pressure, velocity, or combination of these two. Okay. So, we will now see soon. So, let us quickly solve, rather establish one expression from where we will come to know that the net head developed by the pump can be written again in one form, and while we are trying to write, while we are trying to establish the net head being developed by the pump in different forms, our objective is to see by how we can tune the quantity, whether it is geometric parameter of the pump or it is the geometric parameters of the system. So, by tuning the geometric parameters of the system, geometric parameters of the pump, we can increase, rather we can tune the net head being developed by the pump. Okay. So, one such problem is, I am quickly writing that very important problem. Problem is, so this is another problem, problem 2. It is shown that pressure rise across the impeller of a radial flow pump shown above, right. So, this is the radial flow pump which is placed in a system. So, we need to find out the pressure rise across the impeller of a radial flow pump which is shown above can be written written 1 by 2g into CR1 square plus U2 square minus CR2 square cosec square beta 2, right. Here assuming no loss of energy. Okay. I hope I am not required to explain again all these terms, rather because we all are familiar with this. CR1 or CR2, CR1, CR is the flow velocity, suffix 1 indicates flow velocity at the inlet, suffix 2 indicates flow velocity at the outlet. U2, that is the tangential component of velocity at the outlet, and beta 2, that is the blade angle at the outlet. Okay. So, this is what we can we have to show. Again, for this, if we try to draw the velocity triangle. Okay. Now, if we try to draw the velocity triangle at the inlet and outlet, so this is the solution. So, this is the pump which is rotating at an angular velocity omega. If we take out one blade, okay. So, this is what we have learned. So, we have drawn the velocity triangles both at inlet and outlet, right. So, from these velocity triangles we need to show that the pressure rise across the impeller of a radial flow pump can be written in this form. So, what is the pressure rise? That is nothing but the total H, right, the head developed by the pump. Okay. So, now if we go to the what we can write here is that, see, if we now apply again the steady flow energy equation between between 2 points, that is point 1 and point 2. Okay. Then what we can write? We can write, so if I go to the next slide, so again I am drawing this schematic that will help us to understand. So, this is point 2, this is point 1. If we try to draw, okay, in different color, that will help. So, if we draw, this is point 1, this is point 2. Okay. So, now I will be using again different color while doing this problem, solving the problem. So, if I write, then we can write, rather if we apply steady flow energy equation between point 1 and 2, then we can write P 2 by gamma plus C 2 square by 2 g plus Z 2, right, minus P 1 by gamma plus C 1 square by 2 g plus Z 1, that is H. So, the net head developed by the pump is H. So, across the pump net head, that is the total pressure rise is H. Definitely the pressure of liquid at point 1 and pressure of liquid at point 2 is not same, and that is obvious because of this pump. So, pump, the sole purpose of using this pump is to develop or rise pressure, fine. So, what we can do, right, we know this fellow, this quantity is u 2 c theta 2 minus u 1 c theta 1 by g, and if we assume that no swirl at the inlet, no swirl at inlet. So, that means C theta 1 equal to 0. So, we can write H is equal to u 2 C theta 2 by g, right. Now, this C theta 2, I mean if we try to draw the velocity triangle again here. So, that is C 2 this is C theta 2, this is W theta 2, this is W 2 and this is beta 2, this is U 2, this is CR 2. Okay. So, you can write U 2 into what is C theta 2? U 2 minus W theta 2 by G. So, from this velocity triangle we can write this. Okay. Now, if we write this expression again, what we can write? We can write P 2 by gamma minus P 1 by gamma, and that is nothing but the pressure rise across the impeller of this pump. So, this quantity is nothing but H, that is u 2 C theta 2 by g, right, plus C 1 square by 2 g minus C 2 square by 2 g. We are also assuming that points 1 and 2 are at the same elevation. So, points 1 and 2 are at same level. Okay. If that is the case, then we can write like this. Okay. Now, what is W theta 2? From this velocity triangle, W theta 2 by CR 2, W theta 2 by CR 2 is equal to cot beta 2. Okay. So, W theta 2 equal to CR 2 cot beta 2, and this expression we have written. So, if we further write this expression, we can write that u 2 C theta 2 is equal to u 2 minus W theta 2. So, that is nothing but u 2 and W theta 2 is equal to CR 2 cot beta 2, right, plus. So, this is by g plus C 1 square by 2 g minus C 2 square by 2 g. Okay. So, if we go one step further, we can write that this P 2 minus P 1 by gamma, this quantity is nothing but u 2 into u 2 minus CR 2 quad beta 2 divided by g plus. Now, if we go to the previous slide and we have seen that there is no swirl. So, if it is no swirl, then this is u 1, this is C 1, this is W 1 and this is CR 1. So, what is C 1? That is CR 1. So, plus CR 1 square by 2 g minus C 2 square by 2 g, right. So, if we go to the previous slide, we can see that this C 1 square is nothing but this C 1 square by 2 g, that is nothing but CR 1 square by 2 g. Okay. So, that is C 2 square minus 2 g. Now, if we from the outlet velocity triangle, if we go to the previous slide, what we can write? CR 2 is equal to CR 2 square equal to C theta 2 square plus C 2 square. Okay. So, that means CR 2 square equal to C theta 2 square. So, from the outlet velocity triangle, CR 2 square plus C theta 2 square equal to C 2 square, right. So, that is what we can write from the outlet velocity triangle. So, this is from outlet velocity triangle. If that is the case, so we can write this expression that 1 upon 2 g u2 square, right. So, we can write 1 upon 2 g CR1 square plus this 2 will be multiplied over there. So, we can write u2 square plus u2 square, that is 2 u2 square minus twice u2 CR2 cot beta 2, that is there, minus C2 square. So, what is C2 square? CR2 square plus C theta 2 square. Okay. So, we have, so I can write plus CR2 square cot square beta 2, right, minus CR2 square. So, I am adding this term. So, I have to again subtract this term from this expression. I am adding this term to write this expression in a compact form. So, if I subtract this, so this and also CR2 square is there. So, minus C2 square, that is minus C2 minus CR2 square minus C theta 2 square, okay, and minus CR2 square cot square beta 2. So, finally, we can write this quantity 1 by 2 g. You can see now, just if I use different color, that this and this. So, I can write CR1 square plus u2 square, this is nothing but plus u2 minus CR2 cot beta 2 square, right, plus now this CR2 square if I take outside, then CR2 square into minus CR2 square into 1 plus cot square beta 2, right, minus C theta 2 square, okay. So, that is minus CR2 square into 1 plus cot square beta 2 minus C theta 2 square. So, this is the expression that we can write from here, okay. So, this is the final expression we can write, but till now we could not reach the expression that is sought for. So, basically CR1 square plus u2 square, this expression is there. I have added this quantity. So, I have subtracted this quantity, I have just taken CR2 square outside, 1 plus cot square beta 2 minus C theta 2 square, okay. So, if I write this expression further, then we can write this P2 minus P1 divided by gamma, this is nothing but 1 upon 2 g into C1 square CR1 square plus u2 square plus u2 minus CR2 cot beta 2 square, right, minus CR2 square 1 plus cot square beta 2, that is cosec square beta 2 minus C theta 2 square, right. So, this is the expression we can write from this expression, okay. Now, if we go to the previous one, okay. So, you can see u2 minus CR2 cot beta 2, what is this? u2 minus CR2 cot beta 2 is nothing but C theta 2, right. So, that means here this u2 minus CR2 cot beta 2. So, if I just try to draw the velocity triangles at the outlet again, so this is CR2, this is W2, this is beta 2, this is C theta 2, W theta 2, this is u2, this is C2. So, u2 minus CR2 cot beta 2, CR2 cot beta 2, that is W theta 2. So, this is nothing but C theta 2. So, this C theta 2 and this theta, last term C theta 2 will get cancelled out. Now, so the expression can be written 1 upon 2 g, that is nothing but CR 1 square plus U 2 square minus CR 2 square cos x square beta 2. Okay. So, that is the P 2 minus P 1 divided by gamma. So, the total pressure rise across the impeller of a radial flow pump can be written in this form, and that is what was asked in this problem. So, what we can do, again I am telling, I have taken this example you might get from different books, but at least it is nothing, it is not very difficult. Just by doing very simple algebraic manipulation we have been able to establish this expression. So, what we can see that, see U 2, the pressure rise can be definitely increased by increasing U 2, that is what we have learned many times, right. So, that means we can increase the R 2 or we can increase omega, but increasing omega is not a viable solution. Again R 2 increasing, if we keep on increasing R 2, impeller diameter at the outlet will increase, and again that will be problem from the mechanical balance point of view, also from the mechanical operational point of view. CR1, if we increase CR1, so that means maximum CR1, that is the C1. So, if we make inlet swell is equal to 0, right. So, if we keep inlet swell is equal to 0, then the head developed by the pump can be increased. In fact, that is what we have learned from the Euler equation, that C theta 1 0 is the ideal case. But what we can see from this expression, that if we can reduce CR 2 square into cos x square beta 2. So, basically by tuning the blade angle at the outlet and also by tuning the CR 2. So, if we can how we can increase, if I reduce the CR 2, right. So, that C2 will be reduced. So, basically again we are coming the same point, that if the absolute velocity of the flow of fluid leaving the pump impeller can be reduced, our objective should not be to increase absolute velocity of the fluid leaving the impeller, because leaving loss will be high. Okay. So, by tuning this flow velocity at the outlet and the blade angle at the outlet, we can definitely maximize the pressure rise across the pump impeller, and that is what should be our objective. Okay. So, with this I stop my discussion today, and in the next class we will be discussing a few problems from the mixed flow from the axial flow pump. Okay. Thank you very much.